Firearms used to be genuine works of art. Today, they look more like you crashed into a hardware store and everything's stuck. Picatinny everywhere, lasers, lights, vertical grips, more real estate than barrel length. But it wasn't always this way. Today, the story of how the Mall Ninja rifle took over firearms. The pre-war era of military rifles was frankly the golden age of craftsmanship. Take the Lee-Enfield, it's smooth, that wood stock, deep blued steel, careful finishing throughout. Pick one up today and you still feel that quality. The wood develops character with age, the steel takes on a patina, and the whole thing just looks right. Across the pond, the Americans had the 1903 Springfield, which was equally beautiful in its own way. The German Mauser is engineering perfection, balanced proportions, quality materials, finished surfaces, nothing sticking out unnecessarily. Every part of these rifles was designed as part of the rifle. Nothing was getting bolted on as an afterthought. But during World War II, everything started to change. The Thompson submachine gun started life as a beautiful thing. Walnut furniture, that gorgeous deep bluing, and of course that iconic front pistol grip. But war doesn't care about beauty, and as production had to ramp up, the Thompson kinda had to ramp down. The M1 and M1A1 versions lost so many features, including the finned barrel, cooling ribs, the elegant compensator on the front, and the blish lock inside. They were simpler, cheaper, lighter to carry, faster, and cheaper to build. But despite all the simplification, the Thompson never lost its character. It still looked like a Thompson, and still looked really good. But then the Americans went further with the M3 grease gun. Purely functional, looking exactly like the workshop tool it was nicknamed after. Crude, simple, undeniably ugly to most eyes. And the British? The Sten gun. Stamped tubes, loads of barely ground off welds, a sideways sticking magazine. But even at their ugliest, these wartime guns had a clean, simple line to them. They were ugly by simplicity, not by bolting things on as an afterthought. The Sten and the grease gun were ugly, sure, but they were honest ugly. There's an integrity to the functionality of their design. After World War II, the Cold War era began. With World War II urgency over, quality could once again start to prevail over quantity. And with the West and Eastern Bloc locked in a cold, ideological war, aesthetics became an important part of each country's show of power. There was the FN FAL and British EM2 coming out with that distinctive wooden furniture and gorgeous blued metal. Then HK brought out the G3, and things really took a step into the modern. Smooth lines, integrated furniture, that distinctive cocking handle out front. Then came the MP5, arguably one of the most aesthetically pleasing firearms ever made. We cover the MP5 in detail in another video, you can check it out here. But I think it's fair to say the visual appeal of the MP5 is a huge part of why it's become such a cultural icon. Austria gave us the Steyr AUG in 1977, still futuristic looking even today. A smooth polymer body, integrated 1.5-time optic as standard. The optic was part of the rifle, with mounts sculpted to complement the lines of the whole package. Britain gave us the SA-80, aggressive looking, but well proportioned. It's got many faults, but its looks aren't one of them. We all know the SA-80's problems, you can check them out here in my SA-80 video, but visually there are no problems at all. The design is so well balanced that even a small change, like the original Cadet GP's ditching the flash hider, somehow that small change is enough to throw the rifle's visual balance right off. It looks right with its original carry handle iron sight, and it looks great with the original SUSAT, both designed from the beginning to go on the rifle. And of course there's the original M16 and M16A1 with that triangular handguard that just looks, oh, so good. Then there's the Soviet side, the Kalashnikov dynasty. The AK-47, AKM, AK-74, RPK, and even the Dragunov SVD, all sharing that same distinctive Soviet aesthetic. That super recognisable, gorgeous wood furniture, blued or phosphate finished steel, that curved magazine, gas tube above the barrel, angled muzzle device. From the AK to the Dragunov, the Soviet design language is unmistakable. This was the high point. From here, visually, things start to go downhill fast. Through the 80s and 90s, more and more attachments started appearing on military rifles. We got optics on rifles that were previously intended only for irons, huge maglite torches, the M203 grenade launcher hanging under barrels, and much more. But back then, most of this was limited still just to special forces. Regular troops kept relatively clean rifles. And even with attachments, the base rifle would remain intact, still looking good. The Soviets held out longer than anyone with the AK family, keeping its clean aesthetic well into the 90s, and as I say, most of this was limited to special forces. But what the special forces have today, the regular troops are going to get tomorrow. And tomorrow was looking pretty ugly. Back in the 80s, Britain adopted the Accuracy International L96, the Green Meanie, to replace the Lee-Enfield derived L42A1. Gone was the walnut stock, blue-steeled beauty of traditional sniper rifles. In came hollow polymer and lots of adjustability. The L96 was the first true modern sniper rifle platform, putting a priority on modularity when it came to sniper rifles. And this is where things really started to change. Then in '92, the US Special Operations Command launched the Special Operations Peculiar Modifications Program, or SOPMOD to make it far less of a mouthful. The first kit, Block 1, fielded in '97, took the M4A1 carbine and turned it into a modular weapon system. The centerpiece of the whole SOPMOD idea was the Knights Armament Rail Interface System, or RAS. Suddenly, instead of a smooth, round handguard, you had 4 sides of Picatinny rail, 4 sides of mounting space. Real estate became far more important than aesthetics. PEC-2 lasers, vertical grips, surefire lights, EOTech holographic sights, aim point red dots, ACOGs, M203 grenade launchers, suppressors, backup iron sights. It all stacked up. The Christmas tree rifle was born, each soldier's rifle becoming unique and personalised to their role. Visually, really chaotic, but mission effective. By the time SOPMOD Block 2 rolled out in the mid-2000s with the Daniel Defense RIS-2, things had only gotten busier, and the weight problem was real too. A heavily kitted out M4 can weigh nearly twice as much as the base rifle. Add a full mag, and you're carrying some serious weight. The SOPMOD aesthetic spread like a virus to every Western military rifle. It's quite possible with a few attachments to ruin even the best looking things. There we go, that's just about done it. She's wonderfully hideous. And heavy. Actually quite like that handle. In 2007, an urgent operational requirement saw a Daniel Defense rail system replace the smooth handguard on the SA-80. It literally looks like the front of one rifle and the rear of another glued together. Swap the SUSAT from ACOG on that ugly riser and you've got one disgraceful looking piece. The Steyr AUG suffered too, swapping the elegant inbuilt optic for more rail space. And when you thought it couldn't get any worse, flat dark earth, FDE, coyote tan, whatever you want to call it, it was everywhere. The origin was practical enough. Desert deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan made tan colours really useful for military gear. Then tactical influencers and manufacturers jumped on the bandwagon. Suddenly every rifle, every plate carrier, every accessory had to be FDE. But there's a fundamental sort of problem that nobody kind of warned us about. Firstly, nobody seems to make a real consensus on what colour exactly FDE is. Add on to that the fact that different materials accept coatings differently. The SCAR is the poster child of this disaster. Polymer parts in one shade, aluminium receiver in another, steel components in yet another shade of FDE. These were factory rifles that looked like they were kind of pre-modded at home. The 50 shades of FDE phenomenon affects pretty much every modern rifle. Even the new MP5s are available in FDE, although I kind of like it in a weird way. And then there's the SA-80A3 variant, which at first I actually admired. The handguard looks really well designed. I love the shape that they've gone for, balances well with the rifles, especially with the new monolithic rail system. It just all balances really nicely in black and white. But turn up the colour and you realise we've got a aluminium handguard in bronze, a body in flat dark earth, a scope in black, and the plastics, they've stuck with the inventory of what they already had. The plastics are still green. SA-80A3, I'm disappointed in you. Today on the civilian market, the AR-15 platform dominates everywhere. There's an estimated 24 million AR-15s in private hands worldwide, and a huge percentage of them are modified in some way. Civilian gun culture has actually amplified the ugliness problem. Call of Duty Modern Warfare let players bolt on unlimited attachments onto virtual rifles, showing off operator loadouts that civilians really wanted to recreate. Like this kind of crap. Then YouTube tactical influencers, reviews, military video games were all training a whole generation to want their rifles to look like Tier 1 operator setups. The Mall Ninja Plague was born. Civilians loading up rifles with PEC-15s, IR lasers, night vision capable optics that they'll literally never ever have a use for, mid-range AR-15s sporting $5,000 worth of attachments just to go plink at a few Coke cans. Tactical Larping at its absolute peak. The accessory industry boomed, millions and millions in revenue for companies making attachments that most owners are never gonna need. There is a counter trend though. The anti-AR-15 movement sees civilians buying and building vintage-style rifles with smooth handguards, classic furniture, traditional aesthetics. Classic military rifle collecting is exploding, with Lee-Enfields, Garand, FALs, M1A1s, G3s becoming valuable collectibles. And the double-barreled shotgun industry has never really stirred from that classic aesthetic. So beauty in firearms isn't dead, it's just no longer a priority for the military. Modern combat demands modern capabilities. Night vision compatibility is essential for 21st century warfare. Suppressors save soldiers' hearing and aid battlefield communication. Lights and lasers have their place, while optics are non-negotiable today. Modularity equals adaptability. One rifle, many roles. Different attachments for different missions, soldiers can customize it to their needs. The trade-off is real ugly. But when your life depends on having the kit you need when you need it, who cares how it looks? But there are other trade-offs. Weight can increase dramatically. A heavily kitted out M4 can weigh nearly twice the base rifle, as I mentioned. That's serious load on a long patrol. Snag hazards appear everywhere, rails catching on equipment, clothing, foliage. Maintenance complexity increases. More parts means more cleaning and more failure points. Costs can spiral out of control. It's no challenge to spend thousands in attachments per rifle. Unless, of course, the elephant in the room, the thing I've been ignoring or tongue-in-cheek ignoring, unless you just like this aesthetic, which is absolutely cool. Just maybe not that. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you could hit like, subscribe, and check out this video here for more great military content. With less rails than this.